morning, guys, from Tampa Bay. It is really early, just about 5:30. Sun's coming up in an hour and 15 minutes or so. Going out today to do another special photograph. This one actually won't have the bike in it. It's just for me. It's really my favorite kind of photography, but one that you can't make money at anymore, and that's landscape. I used to do a lot of landscape work, and I used to actually make part of my living off of it. When I first started doing it, it was before the economy really took a crap, before the real estate market kicked in, and I did my own printing and everything at home. Back then, printing was really expensive. There weren't internet places that you could go and get a huge print for 20 bucks for. It just didn't exist. If you wanted some really high-end huge print, you were going to order something for $200 to $300 just for something nice to be made, and then you had to frame it, and custom framing was $200 to $500 for a decent frame. It was expensive. Well, times changed pretty rapidly, and couple things happened in tandem. One, the economy did crash, and people buying landscape prints just for the hell of it just stopped. Absolutely stopped. I used to do art shows. There's a really huge one, and it still goes on, down at Pier 60 in Clearwater Beach. And there's a really big actual pier that you can fish off of and everything. And they always have entertainment and stuff going on every night. It used to be a little different than it is now. Back then, it was before they had all the new stuff built, and it was more of a local kind of show. So I'd go down there, and I had this really cool setup, I have to say. I had a Mini Cooper at the time, and I had everything planned so that I could fit my entire booth display with stock in my Mini Cooper. Now, if you've ever been in a Mini Cooper, I'm talking the regular one. This was before they even invented the big ones, the Clubmans and all the SUV wannabe ones and all that kind of stuff. Those aren't minis. I'm talking the old first generation. Well, no. First BMW generation. So anyway, I had a table, I had an easel, I had a big rack for displaying about 2 dozen huge, large format loose prints that were matted. They just weren't framed. And I'm talking, well, my biggest ones were 24 by 36, something right around there with the mat boards. So they took up a big chunk of space. I had a whole lighting system that I made out of PVC and fluorescent lighting, and stuff that went on top of the table for sales. All of that I had down to a T to fit in the back of the Mini Cooper. So I did the show, and it was worth it. It cost about $40 a day to be a vendor, and took 5-6 hours of your night every Friday. But man, that just died. And the other thing is, I had a lot of clients, local clients, that used me to print stuff. Like some videographers that I work with, they would have me print custom movie posters that they make for their clients. Some were like a wedding, and it's a thing with wedding videographers that they would do like a custom movie trailer poster, like you see in the theater, with the credits for everything, but they'd have the name of the bride and the groom, the bridal party, and all that kind of cool stuff. And they're really neat. So I'd print those, and if anyone needed some posters for special projects or something, I did. This one guy needed this huge flip chart display for a presentation he was giving, so I printed those up. All kinds of cool stuff like that. Well, that just slowly but very steadily died off, and within about a 12-month period, it wasn't even worth me stocking the materials, because the ink was only good for so long, and it cost over $1,000 to change the ink in the printer. And that was a pretty frugal printer. I used an HP Z3100. I bought it when it first came out, absolutely loved it. Fantastic printer. The quality was just astounding at the time. I'm sure there's at least slightly better ones out now. They haven't advanced much since then, a little bit, but very frugal on ink, that was the point. It still cost you $1,000. And I wasn't even paying for the materials, the ink and the paper alone. Paper still isn't cheap to print your own. So then all these internet companies started coming out, and you can basically have a 2x3 foot poster on basic gloss paper shipped to your door for $25 now. And that's less than the cost of the materials. So I gave it up, and a couple years ago, reluctantly sold the printer because I really did love it, and I printed just as much of my own stuff for my own enjoyment to hang around the house, and I still have a lot of it, than I did for clients. And back then I was shooting for pleasure a lot more because I did have that printer, and I would print up a ton of landscape prints just because, you know, it was cheap enough to do, and I liked it. But since I sold the printer, I really haven't been out on any landscape trips. Not a one. And one thing that I really enjoy doing is panoramic landscape prints. I have a number of them at home. I have got 2 of them still hanging on the walls right now. My biggest one, it was the last project I did before I sold the printer. It's a 6-foot long print, 2 foot high, and I did everything by hand, everything at home. I framed it at home. I even cut the glass, it's plexiglass, myself. I matted it. I mean, everything I did at home myself, and it still cost me $300 in materials, not including the cost of doing the photograph itself. I had to go down the Everglades to get it, and it's beautiful. I love it. So it's on one of my big living room walls right now. But you know, that's a big chunk of change. And the reason I had to do everything, I didn't usually, that was the only one I ever did everything myself at. Usually I would buy the frame, and that would be shipped, and I would assemble it. The problem is you're very limited to the size of things like that you can order because of shipping. UPS, FedEx, the mail service, they have hard limits on the size of things that you can ship. Dude walking a scooter there in the dark must have run out of gas or something. He's got somebody with him. And what they do is they go by the total linear feet, meaning you add up the dimensions of the outside of the frame. Say it's a 6 foot by 2 foot like I have, that would be 6 plus 6 plus 2 plus 2. So you've got 16 feet. And the limit for just about everybody to ship stuff is something like 12, 13, somewhere in there. And beyond that, I mean, they literally make you put it on a pallet, you know, because it's like oversized freight. So no framing shop or custom framing store or any place online like that offers truly large frames. It just doesn't exist. You go over that limit and they don't even sell it. So if you're doing really large stuff, you're building it yourself, or you have a connection with a local frame shop that's doing custom woodwork, custom metal cutting, that kind of stuff. Point is, really expensive. But I love doing panoramas like that. And what I've got in my head today, what I'm going to shoot, is stemming from the Green Swamp ride I did. If you guys remember, I felt my phone vibrating there. When I was going down that ride, I mistakenly took a wrong turn there and ended up going straighter down the road than I meant to. And I commented because I had this fleeting look at a couple spots. I said, wow, that looks like something that I have to come back and photograph. And then I kept going down the road a little bit more and I said, wow, there's another one. So I'm going down there, and the one I have in my head today is a panorama, and it's going to be the second one I saw. Basically, as I have it in my head, as I remember it, and as I saw on Google Earth, but that's not totally accurate, it's a pasture, and there's probably cattle in it. And looking at the topography, I couldn't see it from the road, but there is a fairly large lake. Looks like maybe a quarter mile down the pasture. It's in a valley. Road is above it. And it's fairly barren except for some good-sized trees here and there, which will probably be my focal point of the photograph. But the other cool thing is, and it's something I know about the area, is there are pockets around here that get pretty dense fog in the morning. Now, a little tidbit about fog: you get fog when your dew point and your temperature is generally within about, I don't know, 4 or 5 degrees Fahrenheit. And we get it pretty frequently around here. Now, at my house, I didn't check the temp, but we're going to be steadily dropping as I go through here. The weather showed 70 degrees right there on the water, and it shows near where I'm going on the extreme opposite side of the county, almost 10 degrees cooler. Should be in the low 60s. They don't have any weather sensors exactly where I'm going, so I'm kind of guessing. There's one, 10 or 15 miles away, and that's the nearest. At dew point, they don't even really have one that close, so I'm just going off of what I know about the area. I'm hoping that where I'm going is going to have some fog, because we're going to be within that dew point and temperature range to produce some. And especially since there's going to be a lake and it's at a lower elevation, that should even help fog develop even more. Now, when we do get it, it's really thick for about the first half hour after the sun comes up, and of course just before the sun comes up. I mean, it's really thick. I remember on my past visor, my past helmet that didn't have this pin lock system, man, I would have to crack the helmet and be wiping it left and right, going down the road and, almost pulling off, because it was just that pea soup thick. So it'd be really cool if I can get the shot with some, really thick, low-level fog rolling over that lake, maybe over the pasture. I don't know. But we will see in probably about another 45 minutes. I'm just going down 54 here and pretty much taking the same route that I did on the very start of that Green Swamp ride. It's really not that far. It's not even to Dade City. I'm just going to go up Aaron Cutoff, down 52 a bit, down a couple miles, then up and down to St. Joe Road, and it's on that little stretch there. So that's about it. So what else is going on? Well, we had the big quote-unquote fight of the century last night, and I really wasn't following it or anything up until last night, but I actually did a CO live show last night, or yesterday afternoon, and there was a little bit of talk about that, and it piqued my interest because I had no idea the amount of money that was involved in that fight. I mean, 180 million to one guy, and I think the other got 120. I mean, just ridiculous numbers, especially considering what they did. I ended up watching it for free. There was a lot of free streams on the net. Tell you, whoever bought it for $100 for the pay-per-view, you've got to be really freaking pissed right now, because what a joke of a production. That was just incredibly pointless and boring. It was 45 minutes, 12 straight rounds of absolutely nothing happening. I don't think a single punch from either fighter connected. Not one. It looked completely fake. Wild punches in the air. Half the time, they were literally just tapping gloves. Just, haha, woohoo, woohoo, like they're tickling each other. It was just like, what am I watching? It was a joke. You know, I miss the days of Tyson. Boom, pow, done. 10 seconds into the fight, the guy's out on the floor. Bam, happens again. Bam, happens again. You win. That's a boxing match, you know. This stuff today, I have no interest in it. It's not exciting. It's not worth even watching. I did expect something from this. I mean, I didn't expect Tyson level, but I expected somebody to go down once. I expected at least some punches to be exciting. There was not 5 seconds of the entire fight that was exciting. I'm not exaggerating. You know, everyone I know that was watching it is bitching about it immediately after on Facebook. It was just a joke. But yeah, pay-per-view on HBO was $100 for it. I know a lot of people went to pubs and stuff and watched it there. Hopefully they didn't have to pay a cover or anything to get in, because I'll tell you, a single cent was a waste to pay to watch that. I'm glad I didn't pay a single cent, because that's all it was worth, I'll tell you. But man, the seat prices there, they were going for up to $300,000 for ringside. I mean, just insane prices for nothing. But rest assured, some people made a lot of money on it. Nobody went down, nobody got hit. It was just a fairly close fight by decision. Whoop-de-doo. So yeah, that was highlight of the evening, and it started at midnight. They rang the bell right at midnight Eastern, so there were a lot of people waiting around. Anyway, I'm going to cruise on out. Got a little ways to go yet, and I got hat cam, so when I get out there, I will throw that on, and you guys can at least see what I'm thinking about. And when I'm done, I'll throw up the result at the end of the video. It's going to take me some time to edit it, because there are a lot of shots that I do to make the panorama. It's going to be very high res, you know, just in case I ever actually want to print it large. You don't just take one picture when you do a shot like this. You take 30 and you combine them. Maybe do them HDR. It'll depend on the light. I may just do a single row, might do double row. Don't know. It'll depend. But I'll get out there and we'll see how it goes.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to clip in any of the ride over here. The battery died on the comm system, so I couldn't talk. But I was excited coming over here because if I do show you, you'll see. But if not, I ran into a bunch of spots where the temp had dropped down to 60, and I was running through real nice patchy fog and sheets over the fields and everything, and then it kept going back up into the mid 60s. It's I think it was reading 62 when I pulled in here, and no fog. It's just not quite cold enough. I mean, there's a couple patches I can see. You're not going to see it, but I mean, just literally I can see up at the top of that hill, it's completely covered in fog. That's what I wanted right there. I can see a little puff of it on the other side of the lake. But anyway, what I'm doing now is setting up my camera. And what I got is my 70 to 200 lens. I'm going to show you, I got the exact shot I want right here. Luckily where this little pull-off is. And a bonus, for the next 5 minutes, I got a moon in the shot. So I am going to hurry and get this done. I need this tall tripod. It's my heavy duty one. It's actually a pain in the butt to put on the bike because I need to get over this fence. I could tell from Google Earth that it was here. So I had to bring it. I mean, it's cumbersome, but it's a really good carbon fiber tripod. I'm gonna go right up to the edge here. Now, the important part of doing panoramas is that you level everything out. Man, it is freaking dark out. I know this camera is going to adjust the exposure. Well, I'll edit it here to show you exactly what it's really like. It's dark. I can barely see my bubble level. But I got to level my legs first. There we go. All right, now the camera can go on. Now I know that this here, as I pivot, is going to be level, and that's important because when you're doing panoramas, you are doing tons of, oh my god, oh phew, that's like, wait a minute, I brought the wrong tripod link, no way. No, I didn't. It's on the lens. Come on, get in there. What are you doing? Oh, I forgot I gotta swivel it first. I am really losing that moon. Alright, now I gotta... You know what? I'm not gonna get the moon. I just don't have the time. Now I gotta level the camera. I still got another couple minutes to set up here. It's kind of hard to do with a hat. I gotta put the stabilizer on mode 1. Actually mode 2 for tripod. I'll lock down the lens. Make sure we're level. Set my zoom. And there goes the moon. Damn it. Lock exposure, lock focus. Focused. Back on manual. Son of a, there it goes. Literally 5 minutes earlier. Look at it, it's gone. It moves that fast. I knew what time I had. I knew I wasn't going to get it. That sucks so bad. That would have been a really awesome shot. Well, might as well look at it. Damn it. Man. At least I can pull a still frame in the video, if this is even recording. That'd be my luck, right? Yeah, it is, I think. Alright, well, now I can take my time, I guess. So anyway, we can see the lake. It's a nice shot, but I don't know, it's kind of missing something without the moon, honestly. I'm going to take a walk. Go up the road here a bit. Make sure I get everything tightened down. Alright. Just going to walk up this fence line. See if it's more interesting down here. I mean, I do like that shot down there, but it's something I would print without the moon. That moon was the focal point of the shot, period. Maybe when the sun comes up a little bit, that'll be more interesting, because the lake might have some better lighting. I don't know. We'll see. But right now, down here, what the hell am I stepping through? It's like I'm tripping on barbed wire or something. Must be just really thick vines. See, down here, we at least have that tree. It's not bad looking. Still have the lake, and there's actually some nice puffs of fog right around the lake. So then it's, how would I want to frame it? Frame the shot, that is. Fog will be there a little while, so I'm not in any rush. Got like a little cabin down there, that little box thing right next to the tree. Nothing really over there to interest me. It's just normal tree line. The lake kind of ends right about there, at least that I can see. This isn't really that interesting. It's just like a little island of crappy looking trees. I mean, I really dig that tree dead center, but I don't want to put it dead center in the picture, because that's not really interesting. And at least so far, it's getting more interesting coming down here, because now I see more of the lake to the right. I wouldn't mind framing that tree to the left. This looks pretty decent. At least now I've got a nice symmetry with the three trees. And then I got the lake. So that's not bad. I could frame all the way from that little tree there, a little past that, a little pasture land, building up. Mosquitoes are out. And then back down into the distance, and I still got fog over the lake. Alright, so I like this shot. This is what I'll set up for here. Now we need to decide, I gotta re-level first of all. I need to decide how many rows I'm gonna do. Now, given that this isn't really that far, I'll probably do 2 rows of maybe 9 shots. So 18 sections, and I'll probably do them 3 exposures each. Oh, damn it. I gotta go back to my bag because I forgot my trigger. Another important thing when you're doing landscape shots in this kind of light, this is where you're doing almost long exposure. You're not doing night shots, but you are exposing for a couple seconds to a few seconds just to get the right shot. And when you're using an SLR camera, part of what makes an SLR camera what it is a little mirror. So you got the light that comes through the lens, focuses inside the camera, it hits a mirror at a 45-degree angle, then bounces part of that light straight up into your viewfinder. Well, when you take a picture, that mirror physically flips up out of the way, and then the shutter opens and you make your exposure. The problem is that mirror moving creates vibration. And during certain exposures, certain lengths of time, that vibration goes into the camera. So there's a certain thing called mirror lockup on SLR cameras, and all it means is it introduces a delay. So normally you press the shutter button, what happens is the mirror folds up very quickly and then you immediately take the picture and then it flops back down. Well, with mirror lockup, the mirror flips up and then it pauses, and it gives you a little delay, usually about a second. Then it takes a picture. So it gives that vibration time to completely calm down. So it takes the mirror out of the equation of getting a really sharp shot. And this is the kind of light where you have to use it. If you're taking faster exposures or longer exposures, you don't, because it just doesn't come into play. It never hurts to turn it on as far as image quality, but you obviously can't use it for anything like a wedding, because when you need to get that shot, you need to get that shot. You can't have that second delay, you know? So the other thing is taking all vibration out of your whole support system, and that involves using a remote trigger. Instead of pressing the button and moving the camera with your finger, you press this. So you're not connected to the camera at all. Alright, so I gotta level back out here. Bring up this leg. Pull down on this one. I got a little level on my base here under my tripod head. Down on this one. And just like any other level, it's got a bubble. Except you're using 3 legs. It's not just on 2 axes, so it's a little tricky. Alright, so that levels the legs from this point down. And then you have the ball head here. And there are some levels you can put on top of here, like I have one right here. And I also have an electronic one in the camera. I'm just going to level my base here. And you do that by loosening your ball adjustment. And leveling out both sides. And tightening it back down. I know you can't see it because I'm peering over the little bubble levels. Okay. So now that is completely level, and I can just loosen this one here, and that allows me to rotate just the base of the ball head completely level. So now I can see what my shot looks like first of all. And looking at this big tree, I can tell that, well, I gotta either zoom out, I can't because I'm already zoomed way up to 70, or, like I said earlier, do separate rows, and that's what I'm gonna do. So what that means is I'm gonna do an upper row and a lower row. So it's essentially like zooming out, but I'm just cutting everything in half. So that'll allow me to make just that much bigger of a picture. So now I've got to tilt this up arbitrarily. I still want my horizontal level, but I'm going to go vertical so I can get one different row. Alright, so now I'm going to lock that back down, see where I am with that big tree. Alright, so that pretty much cut the tree in half. That looks good. So now what I'm going to do is get my base exposure. My ISO I want all the way down, maximum quality. I'm going to go up to F11 for very good depth of field and still have very good sharpness. You get much more than that, well, you can start to get diminishing results. F16, F22, yeah, you get more depth of field, but you can have diminishing image quality. And if you go below that, I've got so much in this scene. That tree is fairly close. This angle on the video camera is wide, so you can't really tell. But it's fairly close, and I'm looking at a good half mile to that back tree line, quarter mile to the other side of the lake shore. So now we're going to get our exposure for the scene as a whole. I'm just going to take a shot here, look through, and it wants more time, so my shutter speed is going to go way down. I'm at 1.5 seconds. Just going to do a test shot. I don't care about it being steady. And got a little bit of blowout in the sky, and that's not bad. Okay, so that's a good base exposure. Now what I want to do is do exposure bracketing. Actually, I want to turn on mirror lockup first. You know, I'm not even going to do HDR. It's getting too bright, and I don't have deep shadows anymore, so I don't need that. So here I'm going to turn on mirror lockup. I've got it in my favorites menu, so I don't have to search for it. But if I was to do exposure bracketing, I could dial it in to automatically take 3 shots at varying exposures. You know, 1 up, neutral, 1 down. Okay, so now I'm going to shoot the top row, and I want to come to one whole frame to the side of that far tree. I'm on manual focus. I focused on the tree, then set it to manual. I'm zoomed to where I need to. When you do panoramas, you want to overlap about a quarter of your frame, no more than a third. Just keep taking your shots. So now I'm going to press my shutter. It's going to lock up the mirror, pause, and then it'll take the shot. Then I can move it a little bit, overlap about a quarter, move it, overlap, keep doing that all the way down, and then we're going to pan down and do the same thing on our bottom row, and I got to do it pretty quickly here. Oh, I forgot. My mirror lockup is a manual press. Okay, now I want to look at this histogram because it's showing that whole sky blown out because the sun is now coming up. From the time I took that exposure to now, it's changing. You know what? I'll just keep going. I want to see what the sun does when it actually comes up. So now I'm looking through the viewfinder. I'm going to move my camera and overlap about a quarter. First press raises up the mirror. Wait a little bit. Take your shot. Red light's recording. There's my next frame. Okay. Now I'm gonna move again. Lock up the mirror. Take the shot. So we're at a 1.5 seconds exposure. Like I said, that is really the danger area. Now I'm gonna move again. Lock up the mirror. Take the shot. Okay, I'm gonna keep doing this. The light is changing every 10 seconds here, so I really gotta move. I'm gonna go likewise the whole frame into those trees to the right, so I get the whole nice lake. Wow, these mosquitoes are eating me alive. Whew! Alright, now that was the top row, so now I'm going to come back to center, See where I'm at with that tree? Okay, I'm just above where the actual tree is from trunk to leaves. So now we're going to keep our horizontal steady, our bubble in the middle, and we're going to come down. And we'll see where that is. And likewise, we want to overlap a little bit. So now I'm about a third of the frame into that tree. So I'm going to go all the way over again, a frame past that little tree. Repeat this. This is our bottom row. Nice exposure there. And it doesn't matter if you take the exact number on the rows, as long as you have the data covering well, that's all that matters. But the problem is doing it this time of day, this many pictures. This is why I'm kind of glad I'm not doing the HDR, because it would be 3 times as many. The light is changing so fast that I guarantee from the time I started that top row to the time I'm finishing this bottom one, there's going to be a decent exposure shift that I'm going to have to correct, and that's not always fun because it's subtle from frame to frame. Almost done, almost done. Got a couple more. Nice fog coming off that lake now. I'm really loving that. Okay, that should do that shot. Now what I want to do is just kind of hang around a little bit. I want to see in another probably 10 minutes when the sun breaks those trees, and see if we get any interesting actual light on that lake. And I'm going to come back down to this other area again, kind of set up for that. I think that's going to be a more interesting spot than here when the sun actually breaks. Just my intuition. Man, I'm still pissed about that moon. Oh, that would have been an awesome shot. Damn it. But man, the stuff moves quick when it gets to the horizon. I'm not kidding. And people don't believe me when I'm doing wedding clients or something and we're doing sunset shots, and they're dilly-dallying, and I know we've got 15 minutes and it's done. And you know, the big thing is when you're doing sunset shots, usually it's during the reception. So you got the people mingling and having a good time and partying and all that kind of stuff, and usually they want sunset shots, so I have to wrangle them down and get them out of their guests. And everybody stop it. You can't take 2 steps with a damn bride or groom to get them out of the reception to go take a sunset shot, because everybody wants to say something to them. And they just don't understand that sun ain't waiting for you at all. So, you know, you want to take this time to make the photo, or take this time to hug Aunt Sue that you can do later. And it just happened on my last wedding, and actually 2 before that. We ended up finally getting down to the beach and literally had 5 minutes of light for the entire thing. I think I got 3 shots, and then I was just playing with silhouettes, you know, and that's all you can do. It's going to be a little while here. What time is it? I'm not sure if it's actually broken the horizon yet, because there's a lot of trees here. It was like, alright, so it hasn't even broken the horizon. It's another 2 minutes for that. So it is going to be another 10 minutes before we're over the trees. So I'll come back when that happens. And it's probably going to be another 10 after that until the light is hitting this part of the lake. So we'll see what it looks like. Should be cool. Okay, got everything leveled out. Just kind of prepping here. Sun is just breaking the horizon now. Now this shot does not have anything especially close in it, so I only have to do one row. That's going to be very sufficient. And I've got a nice straight on plane of grass here. So I'm basically going to put my horizon about 2/3 up. That's the top of that hill over there. Lake's at the bottom, that's going to be near the middle. And it kind of sweeps out and gets bigger. So it's going to look real nice, but all these trees are about the same distance in height. So that's going to look just fine. I don't need to do double rows, which makes it a heck of a lot easier when the light is changing, which it's going to continue to do. It's already 2 stops over my last settings just from 5 minutes ago. So I'm going to do a test row here. I just did the first one. I'm just going to rotate. Now we were on 1.6 seconds before, now we're on 0.4. That's the only thing that's changed. And that's to get the same exposure out of the shot. I'm really digging the fog on the lake over there. You will see it in the edited photo, but it's floating. It's all moving like little puffs of clouds. It's very cool. I might actually zoom in and do a shot just of the lake. I'm not sure. It depends on how the fog grows. It's really thick over on that part of it, and then it's puffy over here. It'll be around for a little while. When the sun breaks onto it, it'll be gone pretty quick. Tell you, I hope I was fast enough getting that other shot between the rows, because it is just such a major pain in the butt fixing exposures between shots in a panorama. Really hard. What you end up with is seeing the edges of the frames, because it's just slightly different shot to shot if the light is changing that much. And at row to row, it's even more obvious. You see a line. So we'll see. This is looking pretty cool. Still waiting. Now we're getting some sun hitting that back row of trees. Seeing a nice warm color come in. We'll see it work its way down slowly. It's almost to the road surface over there. I can see that. The sky itself is getting brighter, and I can see the reflection in the water a lot better. Still hasn't broken the tree line over there though. It's the hard light I'm waiting for. Okay, getting some more light. Now it's hitting the top of those trees in the center there. I just did another row. I'm just going to keep doing it as the light changes throughout, just to see what we get. Almost to the top of the tree line over there. I'll do a couple more. Looks like the sun's on that far hill, just coming off. Trees over there. This one's almost fully lit in the middle. Mirror lockup is off now because we're fast enough where you don't need it. So now you just turn, steady it, take the next one, turn it, steady it, take the next one, repeat. We'll see if this is interesting. Give it another few minutes. See what the light does. I don't know if it's going to do anything real interesting though. We shall see. I think people think my bike is a cop because they're all slowing down when they come over that hill. I can hear them. I'll tell you, I really think they think I'm a cop when I'm on the road, especially on the freeway. People get over for that bike like you wouldn't believe, especially when I have the windscreen up. I don't know why. They never did that for my 06. Maybe it's just the way the LED headlights or the LED running lights look. I have no idea. But they just get out of the way. I'm not even coming up on their butt, and they just get out of the way. Not complaining. That's a cool feature. All right, son. You gonna do anything else here? You really see all the cattle on the other side now that they're in the sunlight. Fog's starting to disappear on that far hill. It's starting to warm up. It's really going to get warm once it hits. Yeah, I don't think it's really going to do much. Get some really nice light here in the middle of these trees. But just seeing the way it's hitting the tree line here, I don't think it's going to really do much more than what we see now. It'd be a long time before it hits this little part here because it would have to clear all these trees. I'm not waiting around an hour and a half. I think that first shot I got is going to be my favorite. I really like the framing of that. Still pissed about the moon. That would have been really cool. But that first shot is going to have a much darker sky. There's no clouds out today, so there's nothing to really feature with the sun. Alright. Well, I'm gonna walk up that way just one more time on my way out. I don't think I'm gonna see anything different, but you never know. While I'm here. But with that one tree being so close, that's always going to be the focal point. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do much with that just because the sun is out. A lot of cattle. That's pretty cool right there. If I could be a little higher, because I'm on this valley and half the cows are cut off. Tell you, if that one little tree wasn't there right here in the foreground, this would be a great little shot, just a normal shot, the lake and that little bit of cows down there. Oh, that's not too bad. I like the way yeah, you know what, I like that right there. I'm going to do a tight shot, a tight little more normal shot, not a long pano, because I just like the way that looks right there. Ah, that cam's getting in the way. Alright, let's throw my focus back on, that might help. I'm just going to do a kind of a manual panorama here. And that's one where you're not locked down on the tripod and you're just getting enough of the scene. You know what, let me even turn vertical, where you know you're going to be able to stitch without a problem anyway. So that's what I'm doing right now. just because I really like this little scene. And this isn't going to generate really a panorama shot, although it might if I like the way it comes out. Oh, might as well. I just can't resist it. It looks cool. Alright, so let's level out real quick. Okay. See how that looks. Somebody's shooting something. All right. I really dig the way the sun is hitting those cows right now. Wow, I need mirror lock up on because that is jumping like crazy. We'll start that one again. I'm going to try this same row here with my stabilizer off, because that is really jumping in my viewfinder. Sometimes it can work to your advantage, sometimes not. And when doing tripod work, you very rarely actually need stabilization. I think this might be my favorite shot just from the way the sun is really beaming through. I love the way it's hitting that Spanish moss. All right, one more over here. Yeah, might as well do one more. Alright, calling it a day. Very cool. Definitely, I know, got two that will be hopefully interesting. Maybe three. So, no complaints about that. So I'll throw in, I'm probably not going to put this video up till tomorrow, because I am freaking tired. I've been up all night. And it's going to take me a while to process the photos to throw into the end of the video. So you'll see the video after the photos are done. Now I got another 45 to an hour ride home. Luckily it's Sunday, so no traffic. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the website, TwoWheelObsession.com. There's lots of new stuff going up, not just from me every day. And we'll see you next time. Here are the photos.